Jim Disher out of Commerce City, Colorado, in the 1971 cab over Chop Top Kenworth. Wayne Aldrich from Pleasanton, Texas, going to bring that good-looking Peterbilt over to the right-hand side of the racetrack. We'll be able to expect to see that today, that big, nasty, gnarly, fat burnout, rolling smoke and a little bit of black coal. In that burnout competition, typically, Jim and Charlie Disher both participate in our burnout contest. He's won it once. I believe she's won it twice this year. As that is little Miss Charlie Disher bringing her Kenworth needle nose. She'll look like taking on the left lane, following in Grandpa's footsteps. Grandpa Jim hard off the line out of Commerce City, cutting himself an O-line. In her qualifying session, now Wayne Aldrich, as he bumps things up to the 15 speed as the Pleasanton Texan comes up the halfway point of the racetrack right now. He's going to be able to look at that ET slip and know that he needs a little improvement come off the line as he can have a chance to move rounds. Is this going to be a hotly contested and a tight battle here in this big rig bracket class? So Big Jim Disher goes 96 mile an hour. Waylon Aldrich at 75. 23 seconds to get through the quarter mile. You know that Waylon is going to be able to trim that down later in those elimination rounds. He does have another qualifying session to get things squared away. Sitting down on the line, getting ready to go, that's Rob Clifton. Rob is going to be from Wayne, Oklahoma in the BD Diesel right lane. Left side is going to be Charlie Disher out of Denver, Colorado in the old Kenworth Needle Nose. That 16-year-old girl that is the point leader by 70 over her grandpa. She's going to warm things up down in the water box. I anticipate seeing her later today in the burnout contest. Smoke 'em if you can. Let's see how the 16-year-old does on the light. She was all ready to go last night. The kid was already pumped up and excited for her chance to get onto the racetrack. But there could be the difference between her and Grandpa. Grandpa already cutting an O-light and qualifying for reaction time. Charlie up into the 310s. You can see that on the scoreboard there on the left side for the Shell Rotella lane. So Charlie going to be able to look at that ET slip and know that she's got to get her back down on the O's and the ones if she wants to run Grandpa down. Grandpa might have just a little bit better tune. That's one of the things that she said to me last night, that she feels that Grandpa isn't quite tuned. From Calgary, Alberta, making it a truly international event. Gord Cooper going to be coming up the Shell Rotella left lane. And little Miss Charlie Disher. Charlie will be rolling her ride, that needle nose Kenworth, up into the BD Diesel side of the racetrack in the right lane. In Hot Rod Semi, Jim Disher is the point leader. He's got 120 on Rick Fenwick, Wayne Talkington, and then Charlie. Charlie Disher is down 210 points. She's 150 back at Grandpa. So it looks like Hot Rod Semi, Jim Disher is going to be a national champion. Big Rig Bracket looks like Charlie Disher will be our national champion. Now, who's going to come away with a world championship? And do we have opportunity right now to see a world record? Yes, we do. Keep your eyes on Gord Cooper. He can post a number right here, just got to back it up within 1% later in the day. Doesn't matter if it's qualifying or elimination rounds. We got a chance at a world record. Side-by-side dueling burnouts in our Hot Rod Semi class. Smoking Gord Cooper. The silver 92 Detroit TNT 8V92 736 cubic inch 12-liter twin turbo by BD Diesel Performance and supercharged NOS injected double 650 shot at 3,400 horsepower. The 68 Canadian Kenworth model W923. Smoking Gord Cooper, the current holder of both ends of the world record in Hot Rod Semi. Smoking Gord Cooper. He's going to take a shot at the record. I can say that with confidence because every round he takes a shot at the record. Every time he feels that he and his crew, he and his team have put together the best package to lower those numbers and get into the history books and the annals of the NHRDA even deeper. It's Gord Cooper's chance to post numbers to see if we can get a little history today. World record opportunity coming up. Little Miss Charlie Disher, she's just going to run it out here, and we're going to watch the numbers on Smoking Guns Gord Cooper. Remember the numbers to beat currently: 119 and 1140 goes 1150 and 117 mile an hour does Gord Cooper. So the racetrack may come to him just a little bit as we warm up, get a little hotter track temperatures, a little bit cleaner and cooler air maybe here in the morning session for that round number 2 of qualifying. So currently he's going to sit atop the leaderboard, followed in by Charlie. As our next pair coming up, that's going to be Jim Disher in the cab over, Chop Top Kenworth in the shell rotella left lane, and Rick Fenwick bringing his Pete 379 over to the BB Diesel side of the racetrack. Jim Disher in that shell rotella left lane. He has got a virtual lock on a national championship for Hot Rod Semi, being 120 points ahead of that guy, Rick Fenwick. So Fenwick going into the right-hand side of the racetrack. This could pose to be a really good race later in the day to the eliminations for a world championship bid. As I said, Jim Disher looks like he's got a lock on that national championship. Most likely nothing will come between him and that title. Now it just comes down to who wants it bad enough to get the world and try to drive around Smoking Guns Gord Cooper. Is Gord on paper looks like the odds-on favorite for a world championship, world record and world championship in 2016. You know, the Hot Rod Semi world record holding team, the Smoking Guns Gord Cooper guys, would love to see that opportunity come to fruition. And Clifton clear out through the top side of the traps as our last qualifiers are coming up. That's Charlie Disher and Rick Fenwick. Charlie is going to go home with a national title today out of this class. I do not believe she can be chased down even on a double points day. So she'll come away with a national championship, but I know the little lady, at 16 years old, she would like to be the youngest female world champion in the history of the National Hot Rod Diesel Association and be the very first female with a national or world record in our big rig bracket class. Been laid off the line, but now Rick Fenwick can get to the gearbox just about as good as anybody I've ever seen. Is he able to drive around Charney there in qualifier number 2 to a 98 mile an hour pass? Now coming up is the cab over Chop Top Kenworth, driven by Jim Disher of Disher Racing out of Commerce City, Colorado. He is going to lock up and win the Hot Rod Semi National Championship. His granddaughter will win the national championship in 2016 for our big rig bracket class. It's been a great year for the Disher family racers out of Colorado. Sideways. Jim Disher, he's a racer, he's an entertainer. And right now he needs to change his shorts. Disher rolls back, kicks the door open. The starter just wants to make sure that he is all good and green, ready to go. Not green around the gills. All right. Jim Disher coming up. And through the top side at a 96 mile an hour pass that time for Jim Disher after a wild burnout. Probably one of the most exciting burnouts we've had all year long. Rick Fenwick going into the BD Diesel right lane. Charney Disher from Denver. She's going into the show Rotella lane. Smoke him if you can. She can. Days removed from her 17th birthday. Give a round of applause to your 2016 Big Rig Bracket National Champion, Charney Disher. Girls get dirty too, and girls can. Charney Disher showing that. Fenwick just nailed another killer reaction time from Peterbilt Model 379. He's trying to run up and chase down Charney as she left at a 1650 dial to the 1460 of Fenwick. Wind light goes on for Rick Fenwick. The 1460 on a 14742 elapsed time is going to drive around Charney Disher. So Rick Fenwick is moving on with a chance at a world championship. You cannot take away the national championship from little Miss Charney Disher. Good on you, girl. Grandpa Jim Disher. Grandpa Jim, he's going to come away with the Hot Rod Semi National Championship. So he's still in the hunt for a world championship in this class and in Hot Rod Semi. Super Diesel, you should be in lane 6 and 7. Super Diesel, last call. You should be staged in 6 and 7 for your round number 1 eliminations. Sportsman, winners of Sportsman, we need you right back, as well as Super Diesel, winner of Sportsman and Super Diesel. You need to be right back for your round robin run. Jim Disher goes across on the 1653, dialing 14629. At 97 mile an hour. A little bit quick on the reaction time. Something he'll work on for that next round of elimination racing by virtue of being the number 1 qualifier. Had the best spot in that round number 1 of elimination racing. Super Diesel are coming up next. Super Diesel. Little bit of family rivalry going on right now. Grandpa Jim Disher in the cab over Kenworth here in the BD Diesel right lane. 16-year-old granddaughter Charney Disher sitting in the needle nose Kenworth here in the Shell Rotella lane. Grandpa and granddaughter getting it done. They chased this thing all over the nation. In fact, they're both going to go away with national championships. Charney will be the Big Rig Bracket national champion. Jim will be the Hot Rod Semi-national champion. And they have both won a burnout contest. That burnout contest coming later today. $10 entry wins you $500. And I believe Charney has won it twice. Jim has won it once on the tour this year. So they've made a little bit of extra cash money in the burnout competition. Will it be Grandpa? Will it be Granddaughter? Grandpa with the better of the reaction times as he's coming up the right-hand side of that cab over Chop Top Kenworth. And Little Miss Charney Disher trying to chase him down to the needle nose Kenworth as she goes up the Shell Rotella left-hand side of the racetrack. Wind light will go on for Grandpa. Jim Disher, not laying down, not rolling over. You've got to earn it. That's the way I do my parenting and grandparenting as well. Joining me here in race control is our brand new 2016 NHRDA Big Rig Bracket National Champion, Little Miss Charney Disher. Charney, congratulations. It wasn't easy. Nobody handed it to you, even though you beat out Grandpa. I've been telling everybody that'll listen over the last several months that he grandparents and parents the way I do. The kids aren't going to beat me. I'm not going to let them. They've got to actually earn it, and that's what you've done. Good on you, young lady.
Thank you. I wouldn't be where I am today.
You know, we talked a little bit last night during the sled pull about how you kind of got started into this whole drag racing deal, and it was because older men, Grandpa's buddies, and then some older guys were saying, you can't, you shouldn't, you're not gonna. And what did you do?
I ran out, jumped in the truck, and went out and did a burnout.
So a little girl, I believe you were like 12 at the time?
Yes, I was 12.
So 12-year-old, she breaks part away from the rest of the adults. She goes and gets into a 18-wheeler. Not just somebody's car, some everyday grocery getter. She goes and gets in a big semi-truck, rolls it up into the water box and does a burnout, proceeds to go down the track, and you've been racing ever since.
Yeah. So we were at a show out in Imperial, Nebraska, and we've gone every year since that.
Well, you're probably a crowd favorite, and that's probably some place that you'll always remember, a memory that you'll never forget. And that's really cool that you're able to get out here on the road and not only be competitive, be able to spend time with the family, hanging out with Grandpa Jim. I know that's got to be very special for you.
Yeah, it's that, and when we work on the trucks together is some of the few times that we hang out just alone, the two of us, so it's a good bonding experience for the two of us.
And the little lady, she loves to get in there and work on it. In fact, she was telling me one of the endearing grandparent stories. Jim Disher sounds a lot like myself when it comes to grandparenting. He actually used to put her in the bucket of an excavator and swing her around in circles. What did you guys call it?
It was something like excavator amusement park or something like that. We got in a lot of trouble for doing that, so we only did it once.
So much fun for charting out Grandpa. Grandpa, he's going to come away with the national championship as well. He is in the hot rod semi. There's no way that anybody's going to chase him down. He's still in it. You're out. But that's kind of cool that the Disher family are going to be national champions for 2017.
Yeah, we're excited. We're hoping that this will help boost sponsors. We have Bully Dog for this race alone. Diesel Life is interested, so we're just hoping that all of this can be worked out by next year, and then we're working on a new track.
And I don't want to give anything away because I kind of feel that you maybe have given me that information in confidence, but I can tell you that what you're going to see out of the Jim Disher and the Charney Disher camp is not your everyday grocery getting race truck. It's not going to be the typical semi. It's not even going to be close to anything that we've seen here today in competition. And I'll leave it at that, and that's fair enough unless you want to expand.
No, I think we'll leave it at that till we figure out how it's actually going to turn out. Because we can promise a lot of things, but sometimes plans change and you can't control that.
Well, I hope to see what she was telling me about last night. It's something I truly would love to see, and I can't wait to see the Disher family defend their titles in 2017. And now, you've won that burnout competition a couple times this year as well. Grandpa won it once. Are you guys both going to be in it this afternoon?
I believe so. My grandpa will not be running his typical cab over. He'll be running no bucks that we brought, along with my uncle. So two of them will be running the same truck, from what I understand. And then I will be in it. But past that, I'm not quite sure. Last I checked, there was 7 in the burnout contest.
So 7 entries into the burnout contest right now, and that again comes down to the fans in the stands and those folks that are along the fence line. We actually use an actual decibel meter to get the reading and find out. So it's a fair, honest way to give away that $500. We wish her the best of luck in the burnout competition coming up later today, and she is the newly crowned 2016 Big Rig Bracket National Champion, Charney Disher. National Champion Jim Disher coming up onto the line. He's going to be racing here in our Big Rig Bracket class up against Rick Fenwick. Charney Disher's hanging with me here in the tower because she was out earlier in our Big Rig class. We won't see her until she comes out for the burnout contest. Right now, carrying the torch for the Disher family racers is Grandpa Jim out of Commerce City, the 1971 cab over chop top Kenworth. A one-of-a-kind truck and a one-of-a-kind guy as he gets ready to race against Rick Fenwick. Fenwick is going to be leaving 7 100ths of a second before Jim Disher. So Dish is going to have to wait just a titch of a touch for the cut and shoot Texan to get down the racetrack in the 97 Peterbilt Model 379. So as the Pete rolls up, again, Rick Fenwick, one of those guys, can bang through the gears in a hurry. And Disher, he does an admirable job himself. The guy's been pulling gear levers on semi-trucks for the majority of his life, and he's about 75 years old. I'm a little bit long on that, but he's an old dude. Look at him go. Kenworth and Peterbilt, topside racetrack winner. It's going to be Jim Disher. Grandpa Jim in the cab over. Chop Top Kenworth takes Rick Fenwick out here in the elimination round for our big rig bracket class. Grandpa Jim sees the next round. Grandpa Jim going to the water box. He is our national champion in this class of hot rod semi. He accrued the most points over the course of the long, grueling season. He come down to Texas to hold on and win the title of national champion in hot rod semi. Grandpa Jim Disher. So Jim Disher on a victory lap of sorts will take a 14-second run up to 13:20. Now cross back in and cool down because he'll be in that championship race, the world final championship race in hot rod. The big rig bracket class. This is for a world championship. In the big rig bracket, Charney Disher is now the 2016 big rig bracket national champion. Her grandpa, Jim Disher, taking into that cab over Chop Top Kenworth to the show rotilla left side of the racetrack. He'll be racing against Ron Clifton from Wayne, Oklahoma. Nearly 10 seconds will Jim Disher sit on the start line after Ron Clifton has left. Clifton has dialed a 23.76 second run. Jim Disher dialed at a 14.53 second run. So the 71 Kenworth and Mr. Disher can have to sit and wait to see what Clifton can do. Clifton been very, very smooth, very, very consistent, has been running around the 23 to 24 second pass each and every time. So Disher, could he be world champion and share the championships with his granddaughter in 2016? Charney and National, Jim the world champion of the NHRDA Big Rig Bracket class. Great storyline. The Cliftons, there's three of them that have been chasing around the countryside, hauling loads in conjunction with meeting up with NHRDA events. Ron Clifton, look at this. He's changed his lineup. He's went way left to try to get deep into the groove as he had some wheel hop earlier this afternoon in that left-hand lane. Now he's banging through the gears. Clifton, and look, patiently waiting, Jim Disher, the cab over Kenworth, the Chop Top ride now lets loose. Commerce City, Colorado is home for Jimmy D. Mr. Disher, Grandpa Jim trying to chase down Ron Clifton. They get to the top side of the racetrack. Nearly identical reaction time, so it really is going to come down if they can run the number at the top side. Here comes Dish, and Clifton goes under. Breakout foul, world champion Jim Disher. Grandpa Jim Disher. They'll share titles in that big rig bracket class. Charney is national, and Grandpa Jim is world champion big rig bracket. From Commerce City, Colorado, a guy that's been a lot of fun to watch all year long, whether it's in our hot rod semi or in the big rig bracket class or the burnout competition or just hanging out on Friday nights when we got sled pulls. He came away with a world championship this year. He split championships. His granddaughter will be national champion in the big rig bracket, but he is the world champion in our big rig bracket class. Please give him a round of applause, Grandpa Jim Disher.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a good year to go playing this year with Charney helping me out and stuff like that. She does a lot of paperwork, chase stuff. Michelle at Diesel Life's helping us, and then Chris at Bully Dogs come in and help a little bit. You know, and the guys at Four States Truck in Joplin came in a little bit last weekend. So we get a little bit, and every little bit helps, gets us to the next one. We're good this year. It's happy.
Very happy. I know that Charney's very happy too. You should see the glow in her eye. I know that she probably tells you that she enjoys her time spent. When she's telling a complete stranger like myself how much time with Grandpa means to her, it's got to make you glow a little bit and make all of this even a little bit more special.
Well, since she started doing the racing and stuff, yeah, she has a little more time with me and stuff like that. Go over to the shop and play a little more instead of doing horses all the time.
Well, that horse thing might work out to a career for her later on, but right now, you guys are going to be champions. The Disher family racers are going to be back defending their titles. He is our world champion in our big rig bracket class, Grandpa Jim Disher. So first off, I do have a clarification to make. Educated in Idaho doesn't make me the best at math. So today when I was doing my math for the big rig bracket class, I did not think that Charney Disher had any way to be usurped or be taken over on that leaderboard. But my math was wrong. By 10 points, Grandpa edged her out. So Grandpa will be national and world champion in the big rig bracket. So the 16-year-old, 11 days shy of being 17, she has to come back and try again. Let's bring our national champion in, Grandpa Jim Disher. Now, Grandpa, this isn't going to be easy to tell that little girl. This isn't going to be easy to ride back to Colorado with, right?
No, it ain't. But you know what? When light turns green, we're not friends no more.
Yeah, and that's what I talked to her about earlier today. You know, the fact that you're not going to give her nothing. She's having to earn everything, whether that's learning how to change a tire or beat you down the racetrack. She got to earn it.
Yeah, well, there's no freebies in this world when you're out there. And I told her, I says, when light turns green, we're not friends no more. It's running.
Well, not friends, but he's going to love her no matter what. He is our national champion in our big rig bracket class, Grandpa Jim Disher.